Hi everyone, now I wanted to show you how I make some of these little trees, because you can buy trees which are quite expensive, and also they're a bit uniform. They all look sort of exactly the same, so and they have a tendency to not necessarily stand upright. Well, that one does, but if I put this one down, there we go, you see that one won't stand up. So you have to stick them to a piece of something, and again that limits. So I'm going to show you how to make some cheap trees. Now the first thing you'll need is a nice stick from the garden. What you want to choose is a dead stick. Go to the woods, and you want something that has some nice variations of bits of branch, and then what you do, and if you're young, get a grown-up to do this because these are very sharp. You select bits to cut. So first of all, you've got to decide how big you want your tree, and the fact is trees can be little or they can be quite large. Just have a look out the window and see what a little car looks like against a real tree. So I want this tree to be quite thin, and I'm going to cut it off just here. So there we are. That is the start of one tree. But this stick here will make me probably about 6 trees. So here is the start of the tree. Now the next thing you need is something like some plasticine or some modelling clay, anything that is mouldable, and you pull off like a, I don't know, what's that? A little lump of modelling clay, like that, like so, and then you stick your tree in the clay, right? All quite simple. Then you want to put it down on a bit of flat surface or something. Then you want to begin to mould the tree outright. Bring some of the modelling clay up to sort of thicken the trunk. There we go. Don't worry about the colour at the moment. I've used pink clay before, and you'll get an idea of what's going on. So there we go. That's beginning to look. You can begin to shape the roots if you want. And bring that up there. The main thing is just the plasticine forms a base for the tree. Now I'm going to lift that up. Now often, because I want these trees to stand up and not fall over, I'll take something like a coin or a piece of metal, a washer, and I'll put it in the bottom like that. There we go. That gives it just that little bit of extra weight. So there we go. The start of a tree. I'll turn that on, and you get an idea of what it's looking like. These are some of the trees I made a bit earlier in exactly the same principle. Because what I'll do is, the next bit I'll show you is what you do with the tree that has its base on. So here's one I made a bit earlier, and you'll see that's got a chunk of metal in, and here this is blue plasticine and it's all hardened, but now you'll see it's the same colour. Oh, a little car wanting to jump ship, I don't know why. There we go. So here are some other trees I made earlier. All of the plasticine or Play-Doh, whichever you want to use, is hardened, and then what I've done is I've got a little bit of brown paint. Put some in here. Then let's take this tree off. Now, even though this clay hasn't properly set, I'll just show you how you change it. You take a little bit of brown paint, put a bit of water on that, and then you just brush it on. The good thing about this also is when the paint hardens, it adds like another layer of strength to the tree. So there we go. see if you think that's looking a little bit. Let's move these out of the way. Can't see the wood for the trees, as they say. So there we go. That one, which you saw earlier, that's the white modelling clay with a coin in, a bit of stick, and there we go. Now the next stage is where they begin to look more and more like trees. So I'll just move the paint out of the way. What you have to do next, and I'll move that one out of the way because that's a little bit wet, and I'll move into shot some of the other trees I have made. Again, same principle, plastic modelling clay, painted, and you can see I've chosen all different sorts of trees. Some of them are a little bit wild. So the next stage is you have to go to your modelling shop, or go, as I did, from eBay, and you buy, we call it in the UK, we call it lichen, but in America they call it lichen. So it's very cheap. I think it's a Norwegian moss or something, and it comes and you pull bits off, and there we go. You just pull chunks off. And the next stage is you want some glue. Any glue will do, really, just as long as it's nice and sticky. I've got a bit of, this is contact adhesive, so it'll probably be very messy over my hands. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, let's do this one, the start of a tree. You put some glue on the branches, like so. Put the top back on. With this glue, it always tends to keep on squeezing out when you're not using it. So this is my tree branches covered in glue, and then you select your lichen, as Americans would say, and you just stick it on. There's one. You can vary the colour. This comes in all kinds of different colours, and as with real trees also come in different colours. Now some of this may fall off, but then you just have to revisit it and stick some bits on again. So I tend to like to just have the green foliage at the top of the tree. Let's try. Sometimes just take a look out the window and see what real trees look like, and it'll give you an idea of where to stick stuff. Now, what do you think of that? Probably not the best tree I've made. There we go. But what you can do is you can trim bits off. You get a little pair of scissors and you just, there we go, snip a bit off when it comes round. And you begin to create some lovely trees. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. Glue on the stick again. Let's have, oh, I know, this is a really nice dark green here. So, imagine how that's going to go. There we go, look at that, that's a bit rough. But I think you'd agree. I mean, that's how trees do look. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could have no leaves on the trees. You could have a sort of winter dead scene of just dead trees. Or maybe even snow-covered trees. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. I mean, the good thing here is you just have to go out into the wilds, the woods or your garden or the street, pick up any dead stick and turn it into a tree. Now this stuff is actually very cheap, and you could make yourself a complete forest for just a few dollars. Whereas if you buy a tree, you will probably pay $5 or £4 just for one tree. Here, I think you could probably make about 10. Oh, what is going on? That's how I make my trees, and I hope you all have a go too.